Arsenal's controversial goal against Manchester United. Was it fair play or foul play? Welcome to United News, your trusted source for honest football coverage and analysis. When the biggest matches produce the most heated debates, we're here to break down what really happened on the pitch. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most talked about moments from Arsenal's clash with Manchester United at Old Trafford. The hook that has everyone talking. Picture this. You're watching your team defend a corner kick. Your goalkeeper rises confidently to claim the ball. Suddenly, he's knocked off balance, the ball spills loose, and the opposition scores. The crowd erupts in anger. Players surround the referee. VAR takes a look but doesn't overturn the decision. Sound familiar? This exact scenario played out at Old Trafford, and football fans everywhere are still arguing about whether Arsenal's opening goal should have stood. Was it a fair challenge or a clear foul? Let's examine every angle of this controversy that has divided the football world. Setting the scene, Old Trafford under the lights. The atmosphere at Old Trafford was electric as two of England's biggest clubs faced off in what promised to be a thrilling encounter. Manchester United, playing at home, started the match with confidence and seemed to have the upper hand in the opening exchanges. Arsenal, known for their technical style under Mikel Arteta, were looking to strike on the counter and capitalize on any set-piece opportunities that came their way. Little did anyone know that a corner kick in the 27th minute would become the defining moment of the match. The controversial moment. Breaking down what happened. When Martin Odegaard stepped up to take Arsenal's corner kick, few expected it would lead to such heated debate. The Norwegian midfielder, known for his precise delivery, whipped in a dangerous ball toward the United penalty area. Altay Bayındır, Manchester United's goalkeeper, read the flight of the ball perfectly. He positioned himself well and rose confidently to claim what should have been a routine catch. This is exactly what goalkeepers are trained to do: command their penalty area and deal with aerial threats. However, as Bayındır extended his arms to gather the ball, Arsenal defender William Saliba made contact with him. The French centre-back clearly collided with the goalkeeper's shoulder, sending him off balance at the crucial moment. The impact was enough to disrupt Bayındır's timing and concentration. Instead of making a clean catch, the ball slipped from his grasp and fell into the dangerous 6-yard area where any Arsenal player would have a golden opportunity to score. Riccardo Calafiori, Arsenal's Italian defender, was perfectly positioned to capitalize on the mistake. With the ball dropping at his feet and the goal gaping, he made no mistake, smashing the ball into the roof of the net from close range. The immediate reaction, chaos on the pitch. The moment the ball hit the back of the net, Old Trafford erupted. But this wasn't the usual celebration you'd expect for a goal. Instead, it was pure frustration and anger from the home crowd. Manchester United's players immediately knew something wasn't right. They surrounded the referee, pointing toward the incident with Saliba and Bayındır. Their body language said everything. They were convinced their goalkeeper had been fouled and the goal should not stand. Captain Bruno Fernandes led the protests, while other United players gestured frantically toward where the collision had occurred. The crowd joined in, with boos echoing around the famous stadium as fans demanded justice for what they saw as a clear foul. On the Arsenal side, the celebrations were muted. Even the Gunners players seemed to sense the controversy surrounding their opener. While they were happy to take the lead, they knew this goal would be scrutinized heavily. VAR's decision, the technology that divided opinion. In modern football, VAR has become the ultimate authority on controversial decisions. When incidents like this occur, fans, players, and managers all look to the video replay system for clarity and fairness. The VAR officials immediately began their review of the incident. They had access to multiple camera angles and could slow down the footage to examine every detail of the collision between Saliba and Bayındır. After what felt like an eternity for everyone in the stadium, the decision came through. No intervention required. VAR ruled that there was no clear and obvious error in allowing the goal to stand. But what exactly were the VAR officials looking for? They needed to determine whether Saliba's contact with Bayındır was enough to constitute a foul. In their judgment, the collision was not sufficient to overturn the referee's original decision to allow the goal. This decision sparked even more controversy. How could such clear contact not be considered a foul? Why didn't VAR intervene when it seemed obvious that the goalkeeper had been impeded? The rules. Understanding what constitutes a foul. To understand whether VAR made the right call, we need to look at the actual rules of football. According to FIFA's laws of the game, a foul occurs when a player kicks, trips, jumps at, charges, strikes, pushes, or holds an opponent. However, the key word here is context. Not every contact between players constitutes a foul. The referee and VAR officials must consider whether the contact was careless, reckless, or using excessive force, enough to impede the opponent's ability to play, outside the normal course of challenging for the ball. In the case of Saliba and Bayender, the Arsenal defender was attempting to challenge for the ball from the corner kick. He wasn't deliberately targeting the goalkeeper but was making a genuine attempt to win possession. The question becomes, was his contact with Bayender within the acceptable limits of physical contact in football, or did it cross the line into foul play? Different perspectives, what each side sees. Manchester United's view. From United's perspective, this was a clear and obvious foul. Their goalkeeper was in a commanding position to claim the ball when he was unfairly knocked off balance. They argue that Bayender had established his position first. Saliba made direct contact with the goalkeeper. The contact prevented a clean catch. This type of challenge on goalkeepers is typically penalized. VAR should have intervened to correct an obvious error. Arsenal's perspective. Arsenal supporters and the team itself see this differently. They believe that Saliba was making a legitimate attempt to win the ball. Contact in the penalty area during set pieces is common. The collision was not deliberate or excessive. Bayender should have been stronger in claiming the ball. The goal was a result of good positioning and quick reactions. The neutral view. Neutral observers are split on this decision. Some see it as a clear foul that should have been overturned, while others believe it was within the acceptable limits of physical contact in football. The bigger picture. Consistency in officiating. This incident raises important questions about consistency in football officiating. How many times have we seen similar challenges result in different outcomes? In some matches, this type of contact is immediately whistled as a foul. In others, it's allowed to continue. This inconsistency is one of the biggest frustrations for players, managers, and fans alike. The introduction of VAR was supposed to reduce these inconsistencies and ensure that major decisions were correct. However, cases like this show that even with video technology, there's still room for subjective interpretation. Impact on the match. How controversy shaped the game. Arsenal's controversial opener didn't just give them a 1-0 lead. It completely changed the atmosphere and dynamics of the match. Manchester United, feeling hard done by, were forced to chase the game and take more risks going forward. The crowd at Old Trafford remained hostile throughout, with every subsequent decision by the referee scrutinized heavily. This created additional pressure on the officials and added tension to an already heated encounter. For Arsenal, taking the lead through controversy was a double-edged sword. While they had the advantage on the scoreboard, they knew they would face intense pressure and scrutiny for the remainder of the match. What the experts say. Former referees and football analysts have been divided in their opinions on this incident. Some have supported VAR's decision to let the goal stand, arguing that the contact was minimal and within the normal course of play. Others have been highly critical, suggesting that this was exactly the type of clear and obvious error that VAR was designed to correct. They argue that goalkeepers deserve special protection in their penalty area and that any contact that prevents them from claiming the ball should be penalized. Learning from controversy. What this means for football. Incidents like this serve as important learning opportunities for the football community. They highlight areas where the rules might need clarification and where officiating standards could be improved. The debate also shows how passionate football fans are about fairness and consistency. When decisions go against their team, supporters expect clear explanations and evidence that the correct choice was made. Fan reactions. Social media explodes. Within minutes of the goal, social media platforms were flooded with reactions from fans around the world. Manchester United supporters posted slow-motion replays highlighting the contact, while Arsenal fans defended the decision and celebrated their team's opener. The hashtags related to the incident began trending globally, showing just how much impact a single controversial moment can have in modern football. Fans dissected every angle, every replay, and every possible interpretation of the rules. This social media reaction demonstrates how football has evolved in the digital age. Every decision is immediately analyzed by millions of fans who have access to the same replays and angles as the officials. The referee's perspective. A difficult job made harder. Being a football referee is one of the most challenging jobs in sport. Officials must make split-second decisions while dealing with intense pressure from players, fans, and media. In situations like this, referees rely on their training, experience, and the support of VAR to make the best possible decisions. However, they're also human and subject to the same limitations and subjective interpretations as anyone else. The referee in this match had to decide in real time whether Saliba's challenge on Bayender was a foul. Without the benefit of slow-motion replays, this type of decision is extremely difficult to make with complete certainty. Moving forward, lessons and implications. This controversy highlights several important issues in modern football. The need for clearer guidelines. FIFA and other governing bodies may need to provide more specific guidance on what constitutes a foul in these situations. VAR training and consistency. Video officials need consistent training and clear protocols for when to intervene in subjective decisions. Communication with fans. Better explanation of decisions would help fans understand the reasoning behind controversial calls. Respect for officials. While fans and players have the right to disagree with decisions, maintaining respect for match officials is crucial for the sport's integrity. The human element. Why controversy will always exist. Football is a human sport played and officiated by humans. This means that subjective decisions and controversies will always be part of the game. Even with advanced technology like VAR, there will still be incidents that divide opinion and spark debate. Perhaps this is part of what makes football so compelling. The passion, the arguments, the debates, they all contribute to the sport's emotional appeal and global popularity. What matters most is that these controversies are handled with respect and that lessons are learned to improve the game for everyone involved. Questions for the future. This incident raises several important questions that the football community must address. Should goalkeepers receive additional protection from contact in their penalty area? How can VAR be improved to ensure more consistent decision-making? What level of contact should be considered acceptable during set pieces? How can officials better communicate their decisions to players and fans? What role should technology play in subjective decisions like this one? Conclusion. The beautiful game's complex moments. The controversy surrounding Arsenal's opener against Manchester United perfectly captures the complexity and passion of modern football. While technology has improved many aspects of officiating, it cannot eliminate all subjective decisions or satisfy every stakeholder. What we can take from this incident is the importance of continuous improvement in officiating standards, better communication between officials and the football community, and maintaining respect for the difficult job that referees do every week. Football will always generate passionate debates and strong opinions. That's part of what makes it the world's most popular sport. Whether you believe Arsenal's goal should have stood or been disallowed, one thing is certain: this moment will be remembered and discussed for years to come. As we continue to follow the beautiful game, incidents like this remind us why football captures our hearts and minds like no other sport. The drama, the passion, the controversy. It's all part of what makes football truly special. At Unite United News, we'll continue to bring you fair, balanced coverage of all the biggest moments in football. Because when the beautiful game produces moments like these, someone needs to break down what really happened and what it all means. Stay tuned for more analysis, more debates, and more of the stories that matter most to football fans everywhere. After all, this is just the beginning of another exciting chapter in football's never-ending story of drama and passion.